तत्पुरुषाय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्तिः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ जयन्ते मंगलकाले भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवदात्रे स्वाहा स्वादा नमोस्तुते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia.
Sairam Sharma, Sairam from New Zealand. Welcome to our listeners and loving Sairam to you all. We thank Bhagwan for giving us this opportunity to discuss the ego. And the name of my talk today is Emergency Ego Cases. Now, Swami loves to talk about ego, and I have mentioned in several of my other talks that he said when a person has a big ego, he will blow it up until it fills the whole universe. In other words, he will give that person every opportunity to think they are a big shot, that they are very important, that they are VIP. And he said, I will blow up their ego until it fills the whole universe, like a big balloon, and then I will prick it. It will go pop. And then the person will realize that they are God. With the person with a small ego, I will grind it down to ash, to nothing. And then that person will realize they also are God. I take whichever route is the shortest. So one day my husband was sitting in darshan and one of Swami's graduates was sitting next to him. We could not but be fascinated by the men who got to sit on the veranda because they were all either VIPs, doctors, professors, people of standing in the ashram or visiting people like head of the army, chief of the Air Force, the Navy, Indian Navy, and visiting politicians, not just from India, but from overseas. And as Swami would come out, he would always allow people on the veranda, the men, to offer him letters, to offer him projects, and so on, things that they wished to do, and we always were a bit jealous and envious that these seemed to be getting special attention. Of course, these were in the days when we had not learned to keep our eyes on Swami the whole time and not be distracted by all the many things that could distract you in that hall. And anyway, this ex-student said to my husband, you see, Swami once spoke to us students, and he said, all those who sit on the veranda are emergency ego cases. I keep them there and allow them to present their projects to me. I must keep them busy. And this made us chuckle because, of course, we thought we didn't have any ego problems. But then Mata Betty said to me some years later, Lynn, don't let your head get swelled up because Swami is calling us in for interview. It is because we are all emergency ego cases, and he wants to grind those egos down or blow them up, as is his wish. He will do whichever route is the shortest. This really took me aback because, of course, we like to think that once we are on the spiritual path, we have gotten rid of our ego. We actually cannot live without the ego. And Swami has said this. I mean, what is ego? Ego is thinking that you are a body, that you are just a body, and everything you do with the body is ego. He says egoism is, he said there are many kinds of egoism. Swami says, to think to yourself, I am low, I am mean, I am small, useless, poor, sinful, inferior. He says such feelings are also egotistic. When the ego goes, you do not feel either superior or inferior. And self-condemnation is also egoism. That's like saying, oh, I'm a terrible sinner. No, Swami doesn't want that, you saying that to yourself. He says we are embodiments of divine Atma, embodiments of love. We are divine. The ego is part of our personality, our mind. Ego can take the form of arrogance. Ego can take the form of hatred. Ego can take so many forms. We have all known someone who says, oh, what an egomaniac he is. What an egocentric person. They are so full of themselves. They think they are so important. It's very easy to point the finger at someone who has a big ego, who thinks that they are very important. We can do it. We do it with our politicians. We often do it with our bosses, or sometimes even our parents and our children. There are so many kinds. And but we do actually still need the ego for some functions. I mean, we are in a body. The ego will say to us, oh, I need to do this. I should do that. And this is part of the ego. We can't live without the ego, but it has to be under control. And Swami is very clear about this. I found it very interesting that he would allow the men on the veranda who were pleading with him to see their projects, that he would always say yes, yes. He would give them permission to do what it was that they wanted to do for him. But Swami said, I don't need hospitals. I don't need charitable institutions. I have not come for that. I am here to give you what I want to give you. I have come to give you what you need. I have come to help you save yourself. This was a great eye-opener for me, because for a long time I thought, to get Swami's grace, I have to do some big charitable project. I have to contribute to a hospital. I must, make some contribution to this or that. No, that is not what he wants from us. He only wants our love. He only wants to have us to develop purity in thought, word, and deed. He only looks at our heart. When all is said and done, when our life has come to an end, this is what he will look at when we stand before him. He will look at the purity of our heart. Purity in thought, word, and deed. Think good thoughts. Say good words and do good deeds. Do good, be good, see good. That is his loving command to us. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Tasmat Karunya Bhavena Raksha Sai Ishvara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Sai Ishvara Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.